I have been talking about Project 2025 on my social media platforms ever since I've heard about it. And with the election coming up and with the disastrous overturning of many things during the Supreme Court session this year, it is so important for people to really know and understand what the Heritage Foundation is pushing with this Project 2025. Now, Donald Trump took to his social media platform talking about he knows nothing of it. He says, I know nothing about Project 2025. I have no idea who is behind it. I disagree with some of the things that they're saying, and some of the things that they're saying are absolutely ridiculous and abysmal. Anything they do, I wish them luck, but I have nothing to do with them.
The Heritage Foundation, because you understand that our glorious heritage is the foundation of everything we hope to achieve, which is why we need the help of the Heritage Foundation and everyone here tonight to get our tax cuts through the House, through the Senate.
I do not believe them. All they really need is a figurehead, and they're going to get him. They're going to get him to sign off on things. So this has been retweeted, is being shared throughout spaces that I frequent. But like Max Burns says right here, a great sign that Democrats should be doubling down on highlighting the extreme far-right plans contained in Project 2025. The GOP is obviously seeing some internal polling showing how unpopular it is. Now is the time to make sure every single American knows Project 2025. This graphic is in one of the subreddits that I frequent that is talking about Project 2025. It has the page numbers for each of these things. A complete ban on abortion, it gives the pages. End marriage equality, it gives the pages. All of these pages are listed right here on this graphic. Elimination of unions and worker protections, defund the FBI and Homeland Security. You can see the pages on here yourself. Cut Social Security, cut Medicare, eliminate the Department of Education, teach Christian religious beliefs in public schools. They are already doing that right now. In Louisiana, saying that you have to post the 10 Commandments. In Oklahoma, where they're talking about you have to teach from the Bible. They are already doing that one. Use public and taxpayer money for private religious schools. They are literally Christo-fascists trying to push a theocracy, and they are putting it in their game plan, and they've already been trying to do it. In the ACA, they've been doing that ever since Obama got that pushed. Ban contraceptives. They have been doing that. Additional tax breaks for corporations and the 1%, and civil rights and DEI protections in government. They have been doing that. The Supreme Court overturning affirmative action protections did that for them. Ban African American and gender studies in all levels of education. They've been doing that. In climate protection, they've been doing that. Increase Arctic drilling, they've been doing that. And this bottom one, they've been doing this. Deregulate big business and oil industry. They've been doing that, where they are giving businesses free range to do whatever. And the little people, the people that are impacted by pollution, have been feeling all of this deregulation. So, like I said, all of these numbers are beside this, and this graphic is so important. I have skimmed Project 2025, but I'm going to use this as a guide and go back and look through some of these things. There was an article that was just posted in Salon. Project 2025 was supposed to boost Donald Trump's campaign, but it may be backfiring instead. That's the reason why we are going to keep hammering this. Trump's authoritarian game plan is breaking through the post-debate noise and is starting to scare people. When Project 2025 was released, a number of progressives expressed surprise that Donald Trump's army of authoritarian schemers would boldly publish their plan to destroy American government as we know it. The over 900-page document commissioned by the people expected to run another Trump White House is a laundry list of the far right's most politically toxic ideas, from banning abortion nationwide to mass firing federal officials who believe in protecting public health and safety. One would think that Trump and his allies would try to keep their sinister plans out of public view. Instead, Team Trump published their fascistic blueprint on a website for anyone to read. They even proudly display the menacing Project 2025 label on their front page. They really do. And the fact that so many people are doubting that this happened, and the fact that more people are not sounding the alarm, is really upsetting me and my homegirls. MAGA right learned years ago the value of hiding their wicked plans in plain sight. Authoritarian thought leader Christopher Rufo is the most prominent example. He frequently speaks loudly of his machinations, such as boldly announcing on Twitter that the right is trying to take away birth control, claiming women should not have recreational sex. Recently imprisoned Trump ally Steve Bannon gloated openly on his podcast about his schemes. Before going to prison, he bragged to the New York Times, this is a military headquarters for a populist revolt. Kevin Roberts, whose group, the Heritage Foundation, is helping run Project 2025, recently spoke about how Trump will use violence to force the MAGA agenda on the public.
We've been working with all of them on one project since soon after Joe Biden took the oath of office, before any conservative presidential candidates had even entered the race. As my friend and colleague Paul Dans before talked about briefly, our Project 2025 has developed a comprehensive policy agenda, but even more importantly, recruiting people, 20,000 people to go into the next administration, hopefully to help take back this country for you and for your audiences. We want no credit. We want the American people, if President Trump is elected again, President Trump and his administration, to take credit for that. But it will also be a great sign, if all of this is successful, that in fact, as we know in our prayer time, but maybe not every time when we're watching the news, that the Lord is still smiling upon America. We've been working with all of them on...
Trump regularly employs this strategy, giving speeches where he declares that his goal is retribution against political opponents, promises pardons for the January 6th insurrectionists, and characterizes anyone who objects as vermin who need to be eliminated. This strategy works because it depends on the fact that most Americans don't pay close attention to politics. They will never learn that Trump and his allies are saying such vile things. So the MAGA goal with this bad guy posturing is twofold. First, get the juices flowing in their base. Second, cause those progressives who are paying attention to panic. Trumpists then paint the people speaking out as a bunch of liberal crazies who are exaggerating the threat of MAGA. I often liken it to a guy who pinches a woman's butt in the bar, and when she protests, laughs, and insists she is just crazy, a crazy lady making it all up. We saw this strategy with the Supreme Court's recent presidential immunity decision. It's factually correct that it gives Trump a license to unalive, but anyone who speaks about this fact is accused of Trump derangement syndrome and madness by the Republicans. This strategy largely works because less politically engaged Americans assume both sides engage in hyperbole. Low information people are ready to believe the false accusations that liberals are deranged when they warn of Trump's plans to be a dictator. Project 2025 seemed to be rolled out with this assumption that normies would never hear of it, and that the few who did hear would dismiss the fears as overheated nonsense. Instead, however, there are promising signs that people who aren't political junkies are starting to hear about Project 2025. Even better, those folks aren't immediately dismissing it as progressive theatrics, but may be genuinely alarmed. On Sunday, actress Taraji P. Henson took a break during the BET Awards, which she was hosting, to speak loudly. She spoke loudly about Project 2025. The Project 2025 plan is not a game. Look it up, she told viewers. I'm talking to all the mad people that don't want to vote. You're going to be mad about a lot of things if you don't vote. So I wanted to show the video here, but it's copywritten. You guys can check this one out yourself. Just look up her viral clip. Viral, amplified by other celebrities like Mark Ruffalo. So the MAGA forces swung into action on social media, accusing Henson and Ruffalo and other progressives of making it all up. Is Project 2025 in the room with you? A blue-checked user sneered under Ruffalo's tweet. Those efforts at gaslighting people run against a real problem. However, the drafters of the Project 2025 seek to promote their authoritarian playbook. Thus, a simple Google search generates a slew of explainers from various news organizations, with even more coming out rapidly as a response to the rising number of people asking, what is Project 2025? This is a great article from the Salon. I'm not going to do it all, but Taraji's speech made this spike in interest. Look at how the interest in Project 2025 jumped. Just look at this jump. And people, content creators, really need to hammer this home, what they are doing. And I plan to use this graphic right here, and hit some of these points, because this really needs to be hammered home, what these people are trying to do. And people cannot really underestimate these people, because they have been doing this. They have been chipping away at DEI and women's reproductive rights, and they have been pushing their Christian beliefs to the point where their Christo-fascism is becoming a norm. We keep seeing these news reports. We are not exaggerating in what these people are trying to do. Jump in the comments. Let me know what you think. Have you heard about this? Have you seen my other videos on Project 2025? I think I need to make a video on Project 2025 weekly. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, share.